and I was part of their global ERP rollout program. So throughout 6 years, I was implementing ERP in various plants, distribution center, customer centers, and other area of Ingersoll. And then another 6 years I spent in Middle East with the largest bank of Middle East, and there I was managing their digital footprint in Oracle ERP. So we implemented an hybrid solution. I'll come to that part. What is hybrid ERP? Yeah, so I have exposure to both on-prem ERP solution as well as hybrid solution. Okay, so I am also certified in numerous Oracle modules like Oracle Finance, AP, receivables, and a certified Oracle implementer also. Along with that, I have done certification in TOGAP as well as PMP. So this is my introduction. Now, just quickly, I'll tell you how I have structured this product presentation. So basically, I have created a few tracks for better demarcation of slides. So first, I will start with the ERP introduction. So I'll tell how the ERP has evolved, what are the current trends that are going on. Then we will be closely discussing on ERP for university, like what are the challenges, what are the benefit, and how ERP for university is different than the other ERPs. Okay, then I'll be sharing a track where I'll be showing you the ERP or centralized university ERP ecosystem, what is expected, what is trend that is being followed currently, and then we'll look into the implementation phases of such system, challenges, and what are the successful enablers or successful trait that organization has to follow in order to ensure a successful rollout of ERP. Okay, so having said that, let's start with the introduction to ERP. Okay, so as the name suggests, enterprise resource planning. So basically, it's a software that organization uses to integrate its various aspect of business processes, and not only business processes but all type of resource. So when you say resources, you have people, and people could be internal people, your employee, your staff, and could be your external people like your customer, your suppliers. Okay, then you have your processes. Okay, so basically your sales process or your academic process, your student registration process, etc., and your policy around those processes. So all these are considered as a resource, and ERP actually help you to integrate all this. Okay, and bring all these things into a unified s- platform so that you have all the information available. You are eliminating the manual processes, so that will automatically improve your efficiency. Your departments are very well connected, so information exchanges are very fast, and also it helps you to enhance your decision making because you already have all the information available through these softwares. Now, just quickly, if you see the diagram, so basically when we talk about ERP, though the word looks very small, but it's actually a ocean of processes and knowledge and people's. Okay, so the ERP is broken into multiple suites or multiple modules. Okay, and when we talk about implementing such software, actually we talk about collect implementing those module. Okay, to suit our organizational processes, and then you interconnect those modules so that uh, information flows from one system to other system seamlessly. Okay, you can have one ERP system or you can have multiple ERP system which are connected through integration layer depending upon your nature of your business and the best ERP that suits to your processes. Okay, so in those modules you actually configured your business processes. Okay, and you apply your policy, like what is the your approval policy, or you wanted to certain you know checks for a vendor, or you wanted to put certain qualification criteria for your customer, those all those things, all those custom policies of your organization, you can configure all this into ERP. Okay, like I said, it promotes the efficient flow of information across department, across processes. Okay, so it helps you to improve the efficiency of an organization between, or efficiency across working across different departments. Okay, now most of these products are built you know with the guidelines of the countries, so they are already compliant. Okay, they are audit proof, so if you have entered a record, who entered it, why it was entered, and you have the complete history of same. This ERP is scalable also, so that means you can anytime expand this ERP according to your need of your organization. Okay, now for university, if you see, I have shared some of the ERP vendors who are providing solutions. So example, Baner, Gensbar, Oracle, Datatel, and SAP, and Cinca. So these are the common vendors who are providing ERP products in the higher education sectors. Okay. Now, why we need ARP? So, to be honest, if somebody would have asked me around 10 to 15 years back, I would have shown an image where department people are sitting on the pile of papers. So we used to, sell ERP like that, but now the trend has completely changed. So now when we talk about why we need ERP, we talk about 6 different parameters. So basically, it helps you to improve your productivity. Okay, so the focus is to improve productivity of staff, processes, and entire organization. It gives you a deeper insight, so it eliminates information silos. So basically, no longer your information sitting in one department. It becomes a single source of same information across different department. So you have it address it's helped to address the mission critical business questions. Okay, accelerated reporting, another advantage. So basically your data is real time data with implementation of analytics, chart, dashboard on top of it. So you have a, a reporting that is available on a real time basis. Okay, being a compliant system, you minimize the risk. Okay, you satisfy all the regulatory requirement. Then a simpler IT. So by using an integrated application that shared a common database, you simplify your IT structure and give everyone a set of work. Like the things are pretty well written, well configured, and you have all the training manuals available. So people find it easy to work on such ERP. And last but not the least, you need a system who should be agile to the external environment. With efficient operation and ready access to real time data, you know what is the position of your organization through this ERP, and you are ready to combat any external threats because of changes in your external environment. Okay, so let's talk about how the ERP has been evolved. Okay, uh, if you see this slide, the trend is yearly trend. So from 60 we just introduced ERP, I mean not ERP but a record keeping system. Okay, so through some computer applications the data were being just recorded, then those processes were combined and individual standalone applications were built. But major changes started coming in when ERP was introduced as material requirement planning system. Now, this word coined mostly from an inventory organization, and as we all know that during 80s, the industrial applications were growing like anything. So basically, the ERP was actually originated from a manufacturing organization. So the focus was to bring in the manufacturing inventory processes like your inventory management, cost management, and then integrating it with finance sales order processing, purchasing, etc. Same thing was again evolved with the evolution of technology. So now we started deploying ERP on a client server in the 90s, and soon it came into internet. So we started having three tier three tier application architecture for ERPs during 1996 around. And uh, along with the technology advancement, you know the focus or the ERP software evolved by integrating the other departmental processes also, like example HR, project accounting, CRM. And then in 2000 they brought in the the KPIs and analytics or data analytics, mobile devices, etc. Okay, now again we saw a shift in the technology. So now people started moving, or basically the solution started being provided on a cloud. Okay, now instead of managing the the ERP by organization, the shift started focusing on managing the entire ERP processes by a technology provider or by a product provider or a ERP provider. Initially, if you see, we had a good time gap between the trends that were occurring. But now from last 10 to 15 years, if you see, the trend in technology is shifting very fast. So I can tell you one of the example. We started ERP implementation for one of the giant in US in 2008. Okay, there was a 5 years program, but again it has to be changed because there was a shift in the technology, and as the vendor, or the Oracle provided another feature. So that program changed within 3.5 years, and again 5 years plan was prepared to roll out one single global instance. But again it was put on hold because soon we saw that the technology is shifting towards cloud. So such is the fast changes that is happening in the technology area nowadays. And also those technology trends or demand preference of your customer are also changing, and you need to keep your ERP evolved. You need your ERP to be agile. Okay, so then it started with the fourth era of ERP, which we called as. So basically, in the fourth era of ERP, Gartner actually has provided some of the hallmarks, which he calls. So he says like, okay, yeah, in your fourth era of ERP, the organization demand, one of these hallmark to be there in order to select those ERP. So apart from being available on cloud, on demand, some of the hallmark related to the ERPs are shared. And focus, if you see from organization perspective, is more. So they are demanding like, um uh, additional features from this ERP. Now let's talk about what are those hallmark. Okay, so if you see, the first hallmark which is shared by Gartner is data centric. Okay, so by data centric means gathering and providing insight of data should be paramount feature of the ERP. Okay, the data is everything. So yes, data should be meaningful, presented across different department, and it gives a valuable insight about same. So ERP should focus on building such solution which actually helps the department to take a correct decision based on the available data. Second is customer facing. Okay, now we all know that a good customer facing application or good customer uh, experience help in retention of, not only retention of customer, but as well as attracting new customer. Now the ARP should focus on those things also, and as well as enable some of the AI ML driven predictive features while sharing the customer user interface to, or while exposing the customer user interface to the external stakeholders. Okay, it should be AI driven. It should be, the ERP should be easily uh, you know configurable to the AI, latest trend in AI, which is, it should be incorporated and give a predictive analysis of key information like supplier analytics or your customer analytics or your customer preferences. So it should easily collaborated with the AI technologies. Okay. The other thing was like again people augmented. So the organization no longer want the ERP processes to be manual. Okay, they want a smart way. Those processes can be automated so that the people or the staff of the organization can focus on other activity and provide value to the organization rather than just sitting and doing a non-productive manual activity. Enabling flexibility means it should be agile enough to to the external environment. If we see there is a trend in changing, then ERP should be able to accept those changes and align the processes according to the need of the external environment. Okay, when I say consumable is means that we want less coding. Okay, so it should be easily configurable, and it should be the functionality can be easy to implement rather than looking for technology stack or tech oriented people, and then going through the entire software life cycle of development, because those are time consuming activity. So if you start deploying a feature which takes 6 months, but by the time you implement that feature, those technology or those trends are gone. So your all energy are wasted, and that is the reason why they want a consumable type ERP, so that the configuration are easy. They can change the processes to suit the external environment very quickly and be ready for the market. Okay. Another trend, if you see, which is going on is, okay, it should be easily integrated with all other applications. So it should have a good API connectors, and the connection should be seamless without any flaw. It should be easy to use, right? So like I said, configuration, rather than doing a excessive custom coding, it should be the coding or the functionality or the customization can be done using a simple configuration. And yeah, another is on demand. So basically, rather than I going for an entire suite, I can just use a specific functionality or specific module which I required it. Okay. So basically it's like on demand subscription. Today I see that I wanted to use an AR module, or I wanted to use a CRM module, but now the shift has changes. So I can just, close my subscription and done. So such kind of a feature should be there in the ERP. And this is what, according to Gartner, people are looking for or expecting from a ERP system. Okay. And yeah, this is coming directly from the report. So as per Gartner, by 2023, 65% of the organization will use ERP application that encompasses one or more fourth era of hallmarks. Okay. So these are the common ERP modules, and which is, comes, or different vendors are providing those modules. These modules are built in such a way that you can individually use those module, or you can implement it as a suite. Okay. So the question will come in, you're seeing missing the specific core functionality related module of a university. I'll come to that part in the subsequent slide. Okay. So next up slide, if you see it talks about what are the different vendors we have in the ERP area. Okay. And what is basically like how they are, what is their market share. Okay. A few of the slides are just sample. I just show you the sample, but I have not got the latest report. Okay. But just to give you a simple idea of who are the key players in the ERP market and what is the projection. So if you see currently in 2022, around 62 to 70 billion dollar market. is there in ERP, which is expected to grow by 186. So there is tremendous investment, or there is tremendous potential in ERP market area, and that's why you see these people or these vendors are investing heavily. And every year you see a new product being launched from these vendors in the ERP area. Okay. The key players are SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Intuit Inc. Okay, but there is a big chunk of ERP implementation is also being done by a small vendors, or the people or the vendors who have the who have built a module for specific need of customers. Okay, so the market is still available for everyone. It is not like it is dominated by top tier vendors. Okay, and why is that so? We'll see that in our next slides also. Okay, so what are the common ERP challenges that we see in implementing or in using the ERPs? Okay, the first and foremost challenge that comes is the selection of right ERP. Okay, there are so many products are available now. Out of those product, evaluation is one of the biggest challenge to identify the best model that fit easily into the processes that we have in our organizations. Okay, now not only you need to see from fitment perspective, but you need to also see, because typically an ERP implementation take a longer durations. Okay, and then you and then when you use it, then only you realize your return on the investment. So horizon is, like I say, is close to 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years. Okay, now this ERP selection then should be your one of the strategic point or strategic decision, because the way the technologies are trending, you don't want selecting a wrong ERP and just to save the investment you're using it, and ultimately you fall behind the market. So ERP selection problem is considered as one of the biggest challenge. Okay, the second is tech technical issue. So when you select an ERP, the things doesn't stop there, but then you need to have your technical requirement documented. Okay, and you need to choose a right deployment option in order to configure those requirements, so that you tailored ERP solution according to your need. Okay, of course you need a quality data, because even if you implement a best ERP with proper due diligence of your requirements, okay, but if doesn't have a proper data, you will suffer. I mean, you'll not be able to use again the benefit out of it. Okay, the next is business philosophy changes. Okay, now when you bring in ERP, or when you bring in such kind of an initiative, you always see a kind of a change in your business model. You have a processes which might be outdated, so it may require your business processes to be re-engineered to adopt to the latest standardized processes which are being configured in those modules offering. So you have a policy changes whenever you are considering any ERP, but we see a resistance while deploying such ERP. So these challenges are always comes and impact the a successful ERP implementation. Then mind shift issues. So this is related to the people who are actually the user. Okay, now by default there is always a resistance to any change. Okay, now those resistance cause a huge problem in deployment of such ERP. And irrespective of any product you use, or irrespective of any product you choose, okay, you always find these kind of a challenges coming from a people. So you need to have a strong organization culture to help to remove those mind shift issues. Okay, Yeah, so like I said, I shared this top 5 ERP implementation challenges. Okay, apart from this, some other challenges that we have seen with the ERP is, right, one of, I mean, ERP, one, only one ERP doesn't fit your requirement, but expectation from the business is like everything should be there in that ERP. Okay, next is you need to train the users. Okay, so users adaptability, giving them a sufficient training is another challenge which comes with the ERP. Okay, and yeah, some of the and the last point is some of the processes from within your organization may need to be adapted to suit the software, which I said, like, okay, you don't need to continue with the old traditional processes. Okay, if you see there is a new process available and it is efficient, better than the current process, embrace it. Okay, resistance to all these things is not going to help to extract the, benefit of ERP. Okay, so multiple studies are being already done, and why? Because we don't see, a success, I mean, many success ERP projects. So ERP projects, whenever are implemented, they have gone into one or the other challenges. Okay, and all this failure in the deployment has given, rise to the key factors that are affecting, successful ERP deployment. So all those factors are being shown over here. Okay, so now coming to the next things, I will start focusing on ERP from a university perspective. Okay, so why we say or university as a separate entity or separate business sector? Because, higher education has always been a sector that have unique organization models and core processes as well as objective compared to the other business sectors. Now, since if you saw the evaluation, ERP was primarily used in the manufacturing sector, but its application can be easily found in other sector, like, maybe retail, or you can take in banking sectors where we can easily, deploy these ERP modules without any problem. But university is actually a work in differently from all these sectors. You may have many of this university work on non-profit basis. They are actually, governed by the government, so they are funded by the government. So that means their core objective is not commercial. Okay, that is, that makes them unique. Their processes are unique. Okay, their interactions, or we call it like, a faculty with student interaction, or courses for the students. So the processes is the way they operate are entirely different than you see the operation from other business sector. Okay, and primarily the ERP which are built, they are built to cater need of multiple sectors together. Okay, now, since the commercial benefit were not realized on this ERP for university, you see many of such many of this ERP from a big tier vendors like from Oracle or SAP, you'll find those functionalities are missing. Okay, for university. Okay, take an example of, I mean, if you go to the next part where where I have mentioned that Georgetown University spent nearly 60 million on a campus-wide ERP initiative. Now, even though we don't see a right fit, but that doesn't mean that university can go with the custom things. Okay, they have to use the standardized product. Okay, to standardize those processes. Okay, and see the investment from investment perspective. Okay, so in 90s also, when there was no direct product available, some of the US universities were started taking initiative on implementing the ERP. They use the best of those technology available. Okay, and some of those examples are shared here. So from Georgetown University to the Louisiana State University, both implemented ERP. So one used Lotus Notes, another used the Oracle PeopleSoft for their academic needs also. Okay, now as per the LeadSec report, okay, there are still more than 600 university which are using the ERP which are implemented around 20 years back. Okay, so yes, when we implement a ERP, we see that okay, we have a good return of investment, and those investment or return will come only if they're prolonged use. But if you are using a ERP which is outdated to the 20, outdated by 20 years, you are actually very behind the current market trend. Okay, you may have a custom homegrown ERP, which which I have seen mostly used in the US universities, and they keep on investing them. But at certain point of time, they have also realized that you know it's better to have a standard processes or standard product, so that they can focus on their core processes, and their core processes is academic and academic excellence. Okay, so uh, a considerable amount of energy is spent and resources has been spent in developing such ERP products, and keeping them updated with the technology is a very tough task. Okay, it's so it's required huge amount of investment to keep them agile, to keep them with the latest trend of tools and technology. Now, having said that, implementation is also not easy for any ERP in the university, and I'll come to the next slide why it is. Okay, but here is one of the code from a product development head in Oracle, who says like when you implemented a student system, it is like getting open heart surgery and a brain transplant and a liver transplant all at the same time. Now, such are the remarks from expert in the ERP areas. So you can imagine the complexity is how much complexity is there when you think of an ERP for a university. Okay, so typically, if you see for a ERP for a university, the requirement which we say or core functional requirement which we say for having an ERP is entirely altogether different from any other sectors. Okay, so for example, institution profile, staff profile, student profile, feedback mechanism module, curriculum, performance analysis, attendance, scorecard, online examination, online assignment. Okay, so this core functional processes of universities are very different. They're very unique from a other sector perspective. While for other sectors like whether it's retail or banking, we find there is a good overlap of those functionality, and so you can have a common module or common ERP platform to serve the need of these common sectors. But in case of university, these requirements are pretty unique. Now, because of this uniqueness, it is very difficult to identify or to use this ERP product from a top tier vendor, and the other vendor who are providing a product for university, they can't focus, or they lack the the administrative processes configuration. So some of the best student ERP which are available in the market, if the university uses them, they have a good implementation around the core functionality. But then if they check for administrative efficiency, or if they check for operational efficiency, they lag it, because their shared services department like purchasing department or financial reporting or finance department are not up to the mark with respect to the process, the functionality provided by module from top tier vendor. Okay, so I've shared some of the products from you know uh, from a different vendors. which are being used for university. And if you see the Elysian banner, Zanzibar are the two of the product which are being used mostly in the higher education system. Oracle Student Cloud is also coming in. It's a comprehensive solution which is targeted specific for higher education institutes. Then we have academia, IFW, campus ERP, SAP, and college management system, and I stay. Okay. So coming back to the same things again. Okay, why ERP for university is different than any other ERP. Okay, so we in the university, I have categorized all these things into four area. One is your complex landscape of university. So there are diverse function that university have. Okay, and these functions are no- are different from any other business sectors also. Okay, so no longer these functions you can find in one single product. Okay, secondly, the interconnected processes. So these many of these functions work as an independent. Okay, so this is this because of their complexity they pose another challenge, because we don't find a coordination and communication, and there is always gap in those different functions of university. Okay, another challenge is department that university faces is the data remains in silo. So informations often reside in isolated system, too many manual processes, and many universities still rely on those manual processes, resulting in error, delay, and increased administrative burden. Okay. Now, because of data in silo, they also suffered a issue with the decision making, because they don't have a real time insight of the data, which hampered their decision. Okay. So with these complex functions available, with those departmental challenges available, we there is a still need for integration and efficiency. Now, higher educations lag behind other industry in technical challenges, because, like I said, most of their ERP system, which are homegrown, or maybe they are using ERP system which is implemented long while and still continuing with them. So they are not only lag behind those technology area, but at the same time they are also their process for planning and budgeting is different than any other organization, because many of these universities are governed by the government. So we all know that it's a difficulty or time dealing process to get grant from the government. So they suffer from a investment perspective. Okay. Secondly, if you see today's world, everybody is has become a demanding person. So customers are no longer, you know, the same which they were, and they are ready to accept the product or product which are being shared as it is. They demand more. They demand not only not only you know easy navigation, but yes, their expectation from the system is more. It should be, capable of guiding them also. Okay. Okay, and then when this such a complex environment, what is the expectation from the system? So definitely we need an integrated approach. Okay, an ERP system is not just a technology solution, it is a strategic approach, like I have mentioned, to managing the complex and interconnected nature of the university operation. Okay. And then the system should enhance the productivity. So by fostering efficiency, collaboration, data accuracy, ERP system empower university to focus on their core mission of education. Okay. So if your processes are properly configured in an ERP, definitely you expect these kind of things from a ERP system. Other reason is basically improved communication and collaboration. Okay. So real-time data inside enable in improving communication across the department and with students. Okay. When you have streamlined processes, which you have configured through your ERP, you may have opportunity for automation. Okay, you expect an enhanced collaboration across departments, and it promotes a cohesive and synchronized approach. Okay, there is so many. I mean, there is, the two benefits of ERP which everybody quote is your efficiency gain. So automation and integration led to streamlined workflow and increased operations efficiency and data accuracy. Now you have centralized data system which ensure accuracy, consistency, and reliability of information. So these are by default an expectation from ERP, and this help in taking a informed decision. Okay. Another reason to go for ERP is your improved student experience. So ERP system enhances student services from admission to enrollment and academic support. Now, in 2000, we used to, take form from register office and fill those form, then submit those form, and then go to the bank, pay for those bank, and then attach those slips. So now things has considerably improved. Okay, so now you have an online channel for payment. You no longer need to go and stand in a queue. Now this is an advantage of having an online ERP system, but yes, we still feel that there is a need, and now those primary functions are achieved. So now the focus is on bringing something additional, something some wow factor which improve the student experience. Communication, yeah, you today we are expecting an improved communication channel between student, faculty, and administration to contribute to a positive student experience. Okay, yeah, and last but not the least, compliance and security. So regulatory compliance in ERP system help universities to adhere to the regulatory department and standard in a more systematic manner. Okay, so data security, centralized data management, and some of the best features that comes with this ERP product is like role based access. Okay, or segregation of duty. So you have, some of the key informations are protected from being misused. Okay, many of these systems are GDPR or external compliant, external compliant also. So it helps you to have all this data security feature as well as being a compliant system as an solution. Okay, so yeah, now we saw the evaluation of the ERPs. Okay, we saw what are the challenges which we faced and why universities is different. Now if you see in the education sector area, so typically the demand is no longer an ERP system, but the demand is for an educational ERP system. So the ERP system which integrates both academic as well as administrative function of an university, and also having features of all the latest trends and provide benefits, all the benefits that have been listed so far. Okay, now if you see in this particular slide, okay, so what you have is you have a cloud based, you know a modern higher education system, where at the top you have your core function areas of a university. So you have administration, which covering all your administrative functionality. Okay, your student, so a portal which caters to your student and cover all the processes related to student. It helps you to have a research area, research functionality also. So basically it caters your research need. And then information technology. Okay, it uses the latest digital trends, like it should have adaptive intelligent app. It should be using IoT. It should have a chatbot for simple use of navigation, and it should be based on the blockchain. Okay, A typical the modules that we actually recommend from a um, configuration perspective is like student cloud. So basically a student cloud takes care of all your academic related functions. A human capital management, so basically an HCM cloud which takes care of all your core functions of your core HR function related area, including payroll, the talent management, succession management, all those things. And then an ERP and planning and budgeting. So basically the ERP suite will take care of your financial reporting, budgeting, and project planning functions. Okay. Now all those things are built on a cloud technology, so you are no longer managing uh, hardware or software. Okay, this is basically on a pay to service basis. So you, or for certain services you only pay for that as a license free, and anytime if you don't like it you can disconnect and you can use the other platform. Okay, apart from having all this functionality, it you know takes care of your all IT administrative related stuff, like no, you are no longer maintaining storage or data center. Okay, it the modern ERP clouds help you to should help you to integrate with the social website to see what is the student feedback about you, or it's basically a social marketing which you can target. Okay, it should be mobile integrated, so no longer only ERPs are available on web, but it should be available from a mobile tab. Okay, it should be easily integrated with any other application without bringing in a heavy custom coding. Okay, it should have analytics and big data capabilities, so interactive dashboard, proper analytics KPI which help you to measure efficiency of all your processes. Okay, the area where you are lagging, it and it helps you to identify the area where you're lagging or where you need to focus on. Okay, so expectation should is there that such ERP should provide analytic solution also, and of course security and management. So it should be foolproof from any external threat, any data hacking. Okay, and it should be easily manageable. Okay, so basically a simplified data integrated solution. Okay, which is self sufficient, so that and easy configurable, so that the education or higher education institute can focus on the core processes of its university. It should have enhanced planning and budgeting. Okay, so they should know the real time what is the position of, or what is a real value of the university. Okay, and no scalability limitation, so be it should be scalable enough to cater the need of university or higher education based on the future. Okay, it should foster higher innovation. So automation is nowadays is basically the word that you will be hearing everywhere. Okay, so a modern higher education cloud or ERP system should allow an environment where people can keep on innovating the processes or innovating the things. Yep. So now, okay, next slide. If you see, I have just shown an ERP architecture for university. Now, typically, I have seen this kind of a system in many of the universities. So, based on that only, I have prepared modules or functionality are just used for sample purpose. But yeah, what is expected from an architecture perspective within a university? So, those information I have tried to depict over here. Okay, now if you see, we have been talking about Oracle unified, or so not Oracle, but maybe a unified ERP system. Okay. But at this moment, if you ask me, I haven't seen any of such system. So that's why I just use both. I just use a diagram or architecture diagram, and I'm trying to explain the way, like what you expect when you have unified, and what you see when you don't have a unified ERP system. Okay. So typically we see, since since academic functions of universities or higher education institute are very challenging to configure through any of the module, so we recommend to use a dedicated or a specialized college management or student management system. Okay. And we kept it separate from the other ERP functions. Okay. So this is easily integratable with the core modules, or with the modules that are currently being provided by top tier vendor. Okay. So since the ease of integration is there, and such ecosystem work perfectly, so I have depicted this diagram. Okay. And kept the student management system outside of the other modules, because these modules, for any ERP product, if you go, like whether it's SAP or whether it's PeopleSoft, or whether it's Oracle, or if you go to the Microsoft Dynamics, you find all these functions are already integrated: financial management, human capital management, procurement, and sourcing. So all these are very, I mean, those comes as an suit from same vendor. So you can have easily have this implemented in university. Okay. But a student solution or a college management solution is still not up to the mark from this vendor. Okay. So whichever is the best student management system you choose, you can have it in your application stack, and integrate it with the centralized ERP, and together both this work as a centralized ERP, because this integration was seamlessly. Okay. So your dedicated student management system take care of your academic functions, and your centralized ERP system take care of your administrative functions. Okay. I have shown Oracle learnings, or maybe a learning management system separate. Okay. Which is very closely integrated with the student management system. Okay. It is integrated with centralized ERP also, because you have certain training requirement for your staff also. Okay. But this is kept separate, just because, since an university is a learning platform where everyone comes for learning. So so to have a dedicated learning platform for such thing is better. So that's why uh, we have, in the past also we have recommended a separate learning platform rather than bringing it into a centralized ERP. Okay. Now what is expected if you have a unified cloud system? So if you see this slide, if a if the if from a particular vendor, if you see a solution which is coming in, okay, where all the core functions are being delivered by that particular vendor, okay, academic as well as administrative, then you can go and you can have, such system where not only your the learning module and student module sitting separately or outside of centralized ERP, but everything should be in one umbrella. Okay. And from that, the data flows into your data warehouse, where you can have a, a the analytic solution also. Okay. So but as I said, based on the research for university, the need for the university, or ERP need for the university, cannot be fulfilled by one particular ERP system. So that's why I have shown you this architecture. And even research also says the same thing. Okay, so um, in the past we have seen where, different uh, different client or different sector has tried to bring all its, application module or functionality into one product area or one common product area, so that they can manage, they can they can have a singular technology structure. They have single vendor or strategic vendor who is like, responsible for all their functions area. But now the trend is been changing. So because it has been tried, there were some challenges found. So now the trend is like, nobody is going with a single vendor because of too much dependency, and because they see some of the offerings in the other products are much better than what they find in centralized ERP vendor. So uh, the organizations are now going with uh, multiple vendors, basically, in short, I could say. So they have an ecosystem where, for catering the need of their ERP, they have 4 5 different products or different specialized vendors, and those are integrated with a proper integration layer. And yes, since all these applications work with single sign-on, so you don't need to have, or nobody have a separate login credential for this system. So they all work seamlessly as a single module. Even nobody can realize like those are different modules which are being working independently. Okay, data flow is also good. So both application architectures are available, and just research need that determine which application is better for my organization. Okay, so what are the typical ERP approaches, deployment approaches we have available in current market? So we can have a cloud ERP, we can have on-premise ERP, we can have an hybrid ERP. Now, if you recall, I use as an hybrid ERP during my introduction. Okay, so yes, now mostly we see we have hybrid. I mean, ERPs are being, or yeah, different ERPs are being used, where some ERPs on cloud and some ERPs on premise. Yeah. So what is cloud ERP basically? Now cloud ERP comes as a SaaS product, software as services. So entire software, hardware, everything is hosted on the cloud, and you access those application via internet. Now this is work on a subscription basis. So you ask for 100 licenses for a particular module, or 200, or maybe in some cases you go by the record. Okay, like for example, I need an expense module for yearly 1,000 expenses reports. So those licenses, those subscriptions are available, and people opt for those, or the organization opt for those subscription. And rest all things are managed by the cloud ERP team. Now, basically, cloud ERP gives or vendor gives a skeleton of application where all the processes, all the codings are all done. It just needs to configured or tailored for a particular organization. Okay, so you are responsible for those tailoring part, and vendor or the product owner is responsible for ensuring that the application is up all the time, and application is providing all the function which is being intended. It takes care of all the patching, it takes care of all the security aspect, it takes care of all the audit and compliance aspect of that particular application. Okay, now when we talk about on-premise ERP, okay, so you see the ownership is shift from a cloud or a product provider to the organizations. Now here all software, hardware is procured and managed by organization. They are responsible for configuration and configuration of application. They can do any kind of a customization which they want, and they are responsible for uptime of that application. Okay, organization also responsible for all the security audit. So what happens in the on-premise ERP system is, okay, vendor keep on sharing the releases, and it is responsibility of an organization to apply those patches, those releases on time, so as to have this product being compliant. But same thing, if you see, all things are managed by cloud ERP team when you opt for the cloud-based subscription. Okay, and third, which is hybrid approach, which is being mostly used. So since you know the major challenge with the SaaS product is you have to adopt to the processes that the product provides. Okay, you can't have a flexibility to add on customization. When I say customization means you can tailor a particular SaaS process for your need, okay, but you cannot alter it. Let's take an example of invoice creation. Okay, so your student has opted for some services, and now you're creating an invoice. Okay, now this invoice, as per the vendor, is when you created it just directly goes and created and book. Okay, but you want a maker checker process over here. Like you want a person who has created an invoice, then it has been submitted for approval for checkers view everything, and it approves it. I'm just giving an example. Okay, now you find in the SaaS product this functionality is not there. Okay, so what we will do, the first thing is you will try to see if any way you can stop the process, switch the users, and go by just completing first part by maker and the second part by checker. Okay, or second thing is just you accept it as it is, and you align your processes to be like that. Okay, so such limitation you will see in the SaaS things. Okay, in on-premise ERP, yes, if you are using a product and if those features are not there, you can have it, but then you can build a customization on top of it. Okay, and hybrid ERP is basically in your ERP structure. Some of the ERP modules are you have procured from cloud vendor, where the vendor is responsible for managing the entire application. Okay, and some of are your application which you manage serve from software hardware perspective, and you have an integration between these two. So and this is the most common thing which now we are seeing, because we are seeing the HCM and payroll functions are being moved to the cloud from a HR perspective, but financials are kept on EBS or on-prem, and we have integration which work between these two. So if there are functions which are which you can separate it easily, and they and basically it's a need of an organization. Okay, uh, definitely nowadays the trend is first preference is always to go on a cloud, and maybe in next 5 to 10 years we will see more products on the cloud. Okay, but still, because those products are not ready to handle to cater the all functionality, some of the organizations still continuing with on premises, and some function on premise and some function on ERP. Okay, so from a university perspective, okay, so again, important research is required to identify a particular product which cater all the requirement of a university. If not, then which approach to be follows. So this particular slide will help in taking those decisions. Okay, this is a technical architecture. Now, as simple as it is, okay, I've just shared the architecture from one of the vendor perspectives. So like this is a architecture which Oracle uses. Okay, similar, but yeah, similar, because on all on premises on-premises application, they always are working on a three-tier architecture. So you have client tier, you have application tier, you have database tier. You're responsible for managing both application and database, their tech stack and everything. When you go to the cloud, okay, you just see this word cloud infra, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So basically, the entire tech stack and server and hosting and data center all being managed by a vendor. Okay, what you just see is the directly a URL. When you access it, it will allow you to do your services or your function for which you have subscribed for. Okay, and yeah, so this is a simple difference between a technical in the technical architecture of a application which is hosted on a cloud, or which is hosted on a on premises. Let me see if anybody has asked any question.
We will take questions at the end.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so let's go to the next
Uh,
slide, which
okay,
yeah.
actually, we have a post message that anyone having any question, we will take at the end of the session.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Okay. Now let's talk about what are the implementation phases that we have. Okay. Now all implementation methodology for ERP deployment is almost same. Okay. There might be some phases here and there, but if you look into those implementation methodology, it talks about same same processes only, or same requirement only. Okay, they may have combined two of the phases and put it into one, but ultimately the things which is required for ERP deployment I'm just going to explain those areas. Okay, so the first phase of ERP implementation is assessment. So like I said, okay, in the assessment part, what you do, so basically you determine, you explore the different ERP or different packages. Okay, then you actually do a fit gap analysis. So what is the meaning of fit gap analysis is basically you go by your requirement and what is the offering from the ERP packages. Okay, now based on that, okay, you say, yeah, I have 100 functions, and this ERP this package is providing 60, this ERP package is providing 70, this ERP package is providing 80, or this ERP package is providing 40. Okay, now this fit gap analysis help you to basically evaluate ERP, yeah, different ERP packages that is available. Okay, and then then you check for what is the industry trend. Okay, now in the industry, how you will get the industry trend is because, so you have different research report which are available. So for example, Gartner report, so they provide an information like, okay, what are the different ERPs and with what is their position in terms of challenger and leader quadrant. Okay, and then what is the investment strategy for those ERPs. Okay, because how long those ERP will continue, all these things are provided in a Gartner report. So that also becomes one of the basis for selection of ERP. And also you actually, when you're selecting an ERP packages, you can call the vendor and they always provide a free demo. So you can see what are the features, which what is the, how is the UI it looks. Okay, and whether those UIs are appealing, whether those functionalities are available, whether it is in the quadrant that I am looking for, is it in the cost effective. So all those analysis comes in the part of assessment. Okay, now there are two people who are involved over here which helps you in the assessment phases. One is basically uh, the product vendor. Okay, and the second is the implementer. Now in some cases a product vendor is also an implementer, but in some cases you find a different implementation team. So for example, you have Tata Consultancy, Infosys, Cognizant. Those are not basically product owner, but they are implementing the Oracle product across multiple organizations. So this Gartner provides both the reports. So it provides who are the best system implementer and who are the best ERP product provider. Okay, so those reports, a demos, a fit gap analysis, it helps you to identify which ERP package is suitable. Okay, and yeah, as a part of deliverable, you can expect from this is your final product selection, your strategy for next 5 to 10 years, like, basically that is sort of an ROI from that product which you expect. Okay, some high level cost and benefit analysis, as a fit gap document which says, okay, what are the requirements that is available on that product, what are the requirement comes as a gap. So gap could be of two type. One where you are able to fulfill that gap by doing an effective customization. If not, then you have to adopt to the new processes. So basically this assessment phase help you to take care of all these things information. Now the next phase is basically your planning phase. Okay, so based on the fit gap analysis, based on the product selection, and then you put a tentative timeline. Okay, so you define all your phases in that. Okay, and keep time for those phases. Okay, you have, you basically um, identify the teams for that. So once, I mean, basically as soon as you start the project, you have a project manager and project sponsor now who helps you to preparation of the project plans. And then once those project plans are done, then you go for a resource identification and deployment. Okay, here you identify all the identify who is going to be, who is helping you to implement that system. Okay, and you align the all team to your project plan. So basically once this activity is done, so that means you are ready with a your project plans, so which clearly says what you are going to do, when and how. Your team who is going to help you to achieve the objective of that project plan. Okay, and team could be your internal team and team could be your external team, which is basically a system implementer. Okay, and you align those team and you formalize this plan with the wider stakeholders. So basically not only a dedicated team, but you require the support from other team also. And when I say other teams, means you require support from departmental team or business team, we call them. Okay, because ultimately you are going to configure the processes which business is going to use. So they are one of the important stakeholder who are going to validate the configuration, or who are going to give you requirement, validate those requirement, and help you in successfully testing of those in the ERP. You have your shared services, or shared team, like who help you to ensure the your implementation methodology follow is same as what your organization is following. So when I talk about this team, is nothing but this team is your change management team, your release management team. Okay, so with all these stakeholders, you formalize your project plan and then you kick off this project. Okay, so after the planning phase, you expect a documentation like project plan. Okay, you have stakeholder metrics, you have all the teams, you have the implementation methodology ready with proper documentation. Okay, now next phase start with engaging users. Now this basically CRP stand for customer room pilot. Okay, or conference room pilot. Sorry, conference room pilot. So where initial demo of application is shown with a basic configuration. So at this moment, it just like same as what a product is going to come with minor changes to to give you a feel of your organization. And then up the SI team goes through each and every processes which are configured in those demo instance. Now, based on this demo, user may see what they are going to see in the future. Okay, what are the requirement that they have shared also are being validated with this demo. So again, this fit gap analysis is again refined over here. Okay, and then once this phase is over, based on this fit gap analysis and all the requirement, we obtained a sign off from the business users. So now, apart from project plan, after this phase you have a requirement which is validated by user and also given sign off that yeah, I have need this thing. And you also have a fit gap analysis report which tells you how many of those requirements are directly configurable in the ERP, how many are gap, and if it is gap, what is the approach, whether we are going to build it or whether we are going to re-engineer our processes. Okay. So once this CRP is done, so typically we keep two CRP sessions. So one is basically for initially requirement validation, and second is for again after those requirement, when we fully configure it. So we go by with the real organization data, and in the second ERP we may have, let's say, 40 to 50% of functionality configured, and with that again the demos are given just to abide what has been started, and those started things are same as what is being requested or not. Okay. So next come with the build phase. So all the gaps which are identified, we say for this gap, these are the technical component which is required to be built. Those are given to the build team who start coding and developing. So you maybe you require 25 report, 50 report, you require an approval to be like this. So all those things comes in the and comes as a part of requirement gathering session, will be put in the build phase, and team will start coding on top of it. Okay. And once this phase is over, the system is released for testing. So we normally conduct two level of testing. One is system integration testing, where the testing is being performed by a expert tester who actually ensure all the scenarios are covered, and they do a testing from end to end application perspective, and especially they test the integration between two different applications. Okay. Following and during this phase, we start with the user training also. So we ensure that when the user comes for UAT, they are adopted to the new process. Okay, they know the navigations of the new application, and they know, and they are ready with their scenario also for testing. Okay. Yeah, so followed by user training and system integration testing, users start testing the application. And this is basically a real-time use of production system, where they do same thing, exactly same thing what they do it in production. They ensure all the processes are there, and it's producing the same result as what we see in the production. Okay. And finally, the final conclusion of this is a user sign off, which is basically which tells us that the application is configured in similar way what is your user requirement, and it has been tested by users also. Okay. So once the testing phase is over, and then you start preparing for the production, and production go live. So you go with your change management, you take their approval, you start communicating the entire organizations. Okay. So first step in those is you build a production instance with all the necessary configuration, you deploy all the customization that has been built. Okay. Then you proceed with the entire data upload check activity. So basically you are bringing the data from your legacy ERP system into the new ERP system, and you open that system after data upload for a sanity check, where users will come again and they try to simulate the exact production scenarios. When I say simulate, means these are real-time production transactions. So the users would be creating invoices or performing a student function or all those things, and based after the sanity check, they provide their approval to to mark it as go live, or maybe no go live. Okay. So once production deployment is done, the things don't stop over here. Then you start providing, or maybe the people start using to, or using the new production system. And of course there might be some issues which keep on coming. So team comes here, IT teams comes here, and they help business users to fix those issues. They ensure that okay, business are continuing with their operation same as they were before, without any issues, without any challenges. Okay. And at the same time they start taking a new announcement request also. So basically now yours you went live with, let's say, 60-70% functionality, and then you keep on enhancing those functionality, and changing an environment regularly to suit your business requirement. Okay. So next is, okay, what are the common mistakes that we see with the ERP implementation? Now again, I'll go back to my original slides where we discuss the challenges, and some of the reports which says that okay, the success rate of ERP projects are close to 30-35%. Okay. So out of every 10 ERP implementation project, you see 6 or 7 are going into failure. These are little old data. There might be some improvement because now we have seen a good wave of awareness. So yes, there has been some improvement, but still, if you if you don't follow those implementation methodology, those success level thoroughly, you may it may result in delay in ERP implementation, or maybe complete failure also. And like I said, this ERP's implementation is not a small or task, but it's actually a big task, whose horizon is 2 to 3 years, and then you know another 3 years for effectively using it. So it's a big horizon project. Okay. So there are some there are some mistakes that has been identified and shared by almost all the vendors. Those comes as do's and don'ts whenever you look for an ERP implementation. Okay. These are some of the common mistakes which I think Gartner has reported. Okay. And I'll just go through all those things. So basically, one is over customization. Like I said, uh, one of the reason for failure of ERP, or maybe not immediate, but maybe in long run, is over customization, because you customize it so much heavy that okay, after implementation things doesn't stop over there. Okay, you have to keep it appraised with the latest releases, latest uh, patches, security patches, and all those things. Now if you do an over customization, this customization will hamper that process. This customization may hamper also quickly adopting to the external environment. So, and over customization result in more work, and people may fight it, stressing it. People may stress out while doing implementation. So uh, and they may not deliver that application on time. Making technology our decision. Yep. This ERP decision or ERP rollouts, it's a longer period. It's not like something within 6 months you have implemented, you are done. Okay. So your decision should be on future basis also. So you choose an ERP which at least it should not be technically outdated within 5 to 6 years, within 5 to 6 years. Okay. So you need to understand what is a technology trend also before taking decision on which technology I should go for an ERP. Not incorporating automation and data analytics. Of course, nobody likes the manual process. Nobody likes just extracting the data and doing some research on top of it. So whenever ERP project are being implemented, a special consideration should be given. Wherever the processes can be automated, go for it. And there should be a proper reporting solution also. Failing to capture historical institution knowledge, so audit history of all things should be is important. And your historical learning of similar kind of a project implementation should be incorporated in the new ERP implementation also. Not aligned to business need and operational goals. Okay, so ultimately business is ultimate, it should be a business based outcome model. So you can't ignore that. It gives you an operational efficiency, low operational cost. So just not IT thing, but it should be focused from a business perspective also while you go for an ERP implementation. Only viewing ERP as an asset management tool, over dependence on ERP, okay, poor adaptation strategy, ignoring opportunity to be re-engineering business processes as you build. So like I mentioned, so if you have a gap, don't just immediately go for a customization. Look for, see if you can re-engineer business processes and use it effectively. Trying to fit your business process to the ERP. So same thing, don't just go for customization. If ERP has different way of handling it, just see that. Okay, or just the engineering. Straying too far from your core functionality, failing to define workflow processes for each department. Okay, not testing your proof of concept first. Okay, overlooking data governance, underestimating the required time and resources, and excluding end users from the decision making process. So this is also an important part which we'll cover in the next slide also, where we say what are the success factors. Okay, so yeah, so these are the common mistake which has been identified by successfully studying the multiple ERP projects, their success, their failures, and the lessons learned from them. And according to same, this common mistakes are being listed over here. Okay, so so far we have uh, saw the challenges, we have saw the mistakes that we do while doing an ERP implementation. Now what are the good things that should be followed also? So this slide explains those success enabler or success rate that which that that are being, that should be used when you are implementing an Oracle ERP or Oracle ERP or any other ERP. So it has basically three things. One is the vision and plans, technology culture, and then all other delivery element. Okay, so how it ensures that that my ERP is going to be, or ERP implementation is going to be successful, and we'll see that. Okay, so when you say vision and plans means, okay, you have clear objective of what is expected from your ERP. The objective should be clear, precise, and it says it is backed by leadership as well as whoever is implementing, project sponsor and project manager. Okay, it has clear demarcation of what needs to be done, what is functionality which is okay for future, okay to be deployed in future. Okay, and it has a clear plans of how to achieve that functionality, what are the method are going to be used, who is the team. So all those information comes under your vision and plan. Okay, the second factor that comes into picture is your technology culture. When I say technology culture means, now we saw that when in a typical implementation project there is so many stakeholders involved. Okay, if they talk in their own language, nobody can understand. You can't expect a collaboration among those different different functions of your organization while implementing ERP. If they understand what is needs to be done in implement this ERP, what is expectation from their side, and how they can support and collaborate with other things becomes easy. So this culture of empowering collaboration and efficient decision making help in successful ERP implementation project. Okay, the other 12 elements, if you see, okay, whatever we have discussed, those mistakes, though, to overcome those mistakes, these things are shared. So business outcome focus. So basically my implementation methodology should just not consider the project to be just, yeah, it is asked from IT, so let's go and deploy it, unless there is a it satisfies the business outcomes. It never considered as a success project. So it needs to incorporate business outcomes. Okay, build your right team. You should always have a right team for the deployment of ERP. uh, and for and if those, if your system implementer or if your team doesn't know how to implement or how to address the business functionality, so definitely you will not have those processes configured. So you need to have a good expert team who can help in deployment of ERP. Fit for purpose governance. Oh, eh, you should not have a bureaucratic governance where for simple decision team has to go here and there and spend time in sharing a lot of information, but ultimately uh, you know uh, instead of focusing on deployment, they are focusing on satisfying the need of a governance process. No, so your governance should be fit for purpose only. It should have a clear demarcation, it should have a clear expectation as a part of government governance, what is expected from a ERP team. Disciplined working, yes, there should be a proper working environment. Okay, and it should be disciplined, timelines are adhered, but not putting too much pressure on the people. Empowered business and aligned business processes. Yeah, so basically it says that the business should be able to take certain decision on their own. Okay, the ERP processes should be aligned as per the processes of business. Enablement begins at the first demo. So um, when you're going for a ERP product selection, involve the people who are going to use it, or at least somebody, some stakeholder from those departments, so that they can help, because this help them to be an this help to reduce poor adaptation of the application. Future proof technology architecture. So your architect help in ensuring that the ERP product that you are selecting, or ERP package you're selecting, is having a clear vision for next 5 to 10 years, and there is sufficient time frame for the use of it. It is not like you just implemented and certain things are going outdated. End-to-end solution build and testing. So a proper focus on system integration testing and user acceptance testing, with all the scenarios are covered for testing those application. Continuously adopting and optimizing and innovating. Okay, so things doesn't stop over here. During the process, you keep on adopting changes, you keep on optimizing it, and you keep on innovating certain features. Okay, sustained adoption and change. So achieving success with ERP implementation required organization to be agile to address change in the business landscape. Your implementation strategy must be flexible, responsive, and designed to drive releases faster to outpace the competition. So in crux, all these points are helping you to have a strong, flexible implementation strategy for implementing your ERP, and this enablers help you to avoid the mistakes which are commonly being done by other organization, or which are commonly being done in the past, by other organization while implementing ERP. Okay. So now coming back to the last track of this particular presentation, we'll just go through some of the modules, okay, and what are the things that are offered, okay, and this is considering a unified ecosystem of Oracle Student Cloud. So basically, a couple of universities, and in fact, more than 200 universities are already using Oracle Student Cloud as their unified ERP system. Okay, now this has both the academic functionalities are catered through admission and financial aid module, and sorry, four module: academic, admission, financial aid, academics, and student financials, while Oracle HCM and Oracle ERP also supporting it to uh, completing the administrative function of it. Okay, so multiple modules are, when in this, in such a ecosystem, you will find a multiple modules which are being placed, okay, and they are interconnected, they are on top of a single data. So it doesn't require an external integration. The integration would be anything which is outside of this functionality. Okay, so what are the key features that are available? You have curriculum registry, multiple assessment type. So this is purely from a Oracle Student Cloud perspective. So I'm just talking about one module out of this entire suite. Okay, so structured learning path, academic calendar, student result, pay to enroll, sponsorship, delegated functionality, self-service features in terms of student central portal, which has, you know, both uh, finance and enrollment capability. They have the task and checklist and automated communication from faculty. Okay, it also have modern ecosystem functionality. For example, my finances, so they can anytime go and see all their invoices, billing, and what are the payment they have done. It has also notification related to tuition and fees assessment, the financial help aid, and student financial help desk to see or to configure the sponsorship agreement. Okay, they can also opt from here the learning packages. Okay, now this is a HCM model. So basically, just, I think I forgot to mention, okay, when the vendors offer, or when the vendor sells the product, they actually sells under a suite. So we call it Oracle HCM as a, or Oracle ERP, or Oracle Student as a suite. Now under those suite, you may have a different module available. So for example, in Oracle Student, they are providing admission, financial aid, academic, student financials. Okay, similarly under the Oracle HCM suite, so if you see, they have a global HR, compensation, benefit, goals and performance, career development, succession, learning, work life, HR help desk, health and safety, time and labor, payroll, etc. Okay, and all this under one umbrella of cloud product. If you go for a on-prem one, so yes, they are sitting under one database, but you have to implement each and every module separately. But here it comes as a product, itself as a SaaS services. And it is not necessary that when you opted for Oracle HCM suite, you have to buy all the product. No, you can have only core HR, or maybe payroll, or maybe career development for your staff. Rest you can ignore, because this is again based on a subscription basis. Okay, so general ledger module helps you to keep check on your financials uh, functionality which you require to for deployment of successful ERP. Okay, so I've just shared uh, what are the processes that we expect in this module. What are the some advanced feature like intercompany balancing, general processing, data access set among those module. And basic key feature it comes is, you know, enterprise and entity configuration, ledger and legal entity setup. Okay, enterprise chart of account, financial reporting, compliance, um, entries of general single. Basically, it serves as a single source of truth for all your financial data. You can have an Oracle receivable module, okay, which takes care of your order to cash cycle, or uh, simply basically. And in this, when we implemented this module, we actually uh, created student as a customer. We had item and memo line for course and book material, okay. uh, and then, you know the invoice booking and invoice printing was done uh, from this module, which were integrated to the student portal of the student center. Okay. So and in this module you do an aging management. You see, okay, how is whether those invoices are paid or not on time, and accordingly you send a reminder and alert to the student. Okay. And this was a complete automated flow. So since the basic informations were picked in the student portal was sending those information, and this module were creating invoices automatically. Similarly, you implement a payable module to support your vendor payment, to support your student refund, to support your external faculty payments. Okay. So normally what we do is, apart from having a regular suppliers or procurement supplier, we create student and external faculty as a supplier also. Okay. Now this module is completely integrated with the procurement module. So for example, for external faculty also, you can have a PO in place before creating invoice and payment for that. A key functionality was vendor payment, refund, and employee expense repayment processing, which were configured. It was directly integrated with the bank. So as soon as the payment were processed in this module, it was being automatically directed to the bank for the disbursement. Procurement and sourcing, a simplest module. Okay. So out of this particular suite, self-service procurement were created. So all the employee of organizations or university were requesting, uh, based on their need, they were creating a requisition which has a proper approval workflow for creation of for approval of those requisition, and ultimately being created in a purchase order for external vendor. Okay. So we configured AME based approval process both at the requisition and purchase order level. Okay. It comes with a feature of milestone based payo. So not only your item, but you can go for a service, and within those service also you have a payment milestone like 10%, 20%, 30%. Okay. Apart from it, advanced procurement and sourcing was implemented to ensure a proper tendering process for any work in the university area. And yeah, so receiving and work confirmation was also incorporated to have a three-way matching and audit process for every procurement activity. So last module that was implemented was inventory management. So books and courseware were all defined as item. Okay. Services normally we catered through category. So we had a separate category management functionality which was there. Also, since it was a big university, the internal store or internal inventory org was created for expense item. So the organization or the department no longer has to wait or no longer has to raise for purchase order. They were just raising internal requisition for internal department, and the supply was immediately fulfilled. So those things were configured. And also on hand inventory management, so they can anytime go and see like how much quantity of particular items are available, receiving and shipping. And also it helps to keep it helps in the cost management of those inventories that is required to be managed within a university. So for this particular study I referred all these journals as well as sites. So any question? I think I just took
No, you
few
are on
minutes extra.
time.
Okay, okay.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
I
thank you.
I went little fast on the last few slides.
No,
Uh,
it's okay. It was okay.
okay,
So thank you. Very informative session to your beautiful slides. And we have few questions from our participants.
okay.
Let me ask you one by one.
Sure.
Uh, the first question is asked that, as you said, that 30% of that ERP projects are failed. Then how the financial is managed? Or is there any blame game that the client will blame to the vendor or vendor because there must be some cost incurring?
Yes, but see, normally it happens that when I say failed means your initial objective was not achieved. Okay,
Okay,
so there is a delay that happens. Okay, and ultimately it result in escalation. Some of the blame games, some of those things happen. Okay,
okay.
so
Uh,
but then yeah, again sometimes escalation is good also, right? Because the mistakes were done, that those challenges were not upfront highlighted. Now once those things happen, when they see that delay is happening, okay, then again you put a secondary plan on top of it. Okay, and then those things help you to ensure a successful implementation. But at first, yes, almost 7 project out of 10 is suffered with deadline failure.
it's only deadline failure or it is a technical failure?
Technical failure, I won't say that, because I have not seen anybody has scrapped it completely. Okay, there were some of the big litigation that had happened, and organization has lost where they have done a litigation against the ERP vendors. Okay, but ultimately they have used it for 5 to 8 years with limited functionality. So not complete technical failures.
So second question is that you told that a project may take 5 year long time.
Mm.
So question is that today if we start a project implementation and
Mhm.
after 5 year we complete, by that time there may be the technological changes.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. So
uh,
now let's take an example of big organization, right?
okay,
Okay. So for example, I'll take example of the organization that I work. So I work for manufacturing org Ingersoll Rand in the USA. Okay. Now they started their Oracle ERP journey, let's say right in 2005. Okay. Now they identify Oracle as a tech stack. Okay. Now that organization has 4 to 5 business sectors. Okay. That organization has almost, I think, 12 to 15 plants. Okay. Those were using those legacy system. Okay. Now first thing is to do a to implement a footprint of Oracle across. So there was a strategy that was designed to bring all the application into one umbrella of Oracle. Okay, for that, for such an organization, definitely you expect 5 to 6 years. Okay, but let's take in a small organization, which I can give you example of UAE based organization which I supported. Now it was a small unit with 2000 employee. Okay, where operations was only stick to Dubai only. Okay, and it was related to banking. So the payment solutions, it's a payment solution now. Okay, so the functionality wise also not as complex as Ingersoll Rand. Now for that, when we started implementing ERP, okay, now they have to implement ERP, multiple modules of ERP, right? So one is they have Oracle HCM. Okay. Now it's a separate department, it's separate people, and everything is separate. Then they have Oracle Financials. Then they have Oracle HCM. Now what such organization does is they first go with the basic minimum functionality to run the ERP module. and then they keep on enhancing it. Nobody would like to go with big bang approach and putting everything in one shot, right? Because that is more riskier than anything else. So if I say 5 to 6 years horizon, means I am seeing an end state of which is being visioned.
Uh, any
does
other questions?
does it address, Pradipta sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
basically, yes, 5 to 6 years horizon is basically to see
In
the
case
end
of
state.
large organizations, the very
No,
large,
large organization and small organization, if I am opting for 15 modules, right? So
then
I want
basically it depends on the size
three
of the
three
organization and the number of
functionality.
modules we are implementing.
Yes. So Oracle Cloud has highest, I mean shortest deployment time. This is what cloud is is cloud's USP. What cloud says is within 1 month you can implement a module, but in reality it at least take 2 to 3 months. Okay, but that is for one module, right? If I have to implement 5 module, either I have to start those 5, so I have to deploy a lot of team. I have to uh, have a dedicated team. If not, then if I have a resource crunch, then I have to increase the timeline.
Participants, any more questions?
Yeah, sir. I have one question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, sorry, sir, there's an echo.
No problem.
Sir, as the ERP system is based on removing the human labor and employing computerized systems to organize a particular organization.
Hmm.
But sir, in some sectors, the human touch is very important to run a
Yes.
business. So ERP is going to replace those sectors soon, or there is some chance of another kind of ERP 2.0 or 3.0 maybe introduced in the future.
No, but I have never seen ERP has replaced humans. So which human touch where you say? And can you give me just one example of such sector?
Sir,
See, people, if I have certain manual process, right? Now, which require a human decision. Let's take an example. I mean, not manual process also. Certain things which require a human decision, right? So now we are building AIs, right? And based on those, basically what we are trying to learn over here is if a machine is a human, or if what human consider things and took a decision, we are trying to replicate same thing in AI. Okay, but implementation of AI doesn't means that a human is going to become a redundant. No, not at all. Okay, it is an additional support to that human. Okay, now I'll give you a simple example. So in one team, let's say we have two approvers, right? And suddenly one approver goes on vacation or he resign. So the other approver becomes, or either he is burdened by too much work, okay, and because of insecurity he may not share those information with other team members, right? So you need to overcome those challenges also. But enabling those ERP or enabling AI related technology to take care of those human factor doesn't mean that human is going to be redundant. Ultimately, we need human to train or to think, to train that machine also.
okay, sir.
The objective is, yeah, things which we can automate, the things where we can bring efficiency and help employee to get more time so that he can focus on some of other core problem area also. This is what is expectation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mukesh, for this uh, session, beautiful session.
Okay.
I hope participants must also have enjoyed this. And there are few new things that we also learned from your PPT, that actually what you are doing in the industry. and actually what we have studied in our theory, that is little different. So what you
Okay.
talked about, that is the real life aspects.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your time with us and for presenting this session. On behalf of the entire Chitkara team, thanks to all
Yeah.
and participants, and thank to Mukesh you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Sinha sir, and thanks team. Okay, for being very patient for hearing to me. Okay, and I really enjoyed. Uh, you know, and in fact, even I also learned. So while preparing all these things, I also, you know, went through multiple studies. So yeah, it's good
So
learning for me also.
content was good and your preparation was very good.
Okay, thank you,
It
sir.
was reflected through your PPT.
Thank you,
So
sir.
participants, who will join tomorrow morning, same time, 10 a.m. with new speakers. Till then, all the best and bye. Thank you all. Thank you, Mukesh.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Have a nice day.